This is lesson 30. We're going to be talking about common denominators and adding and subtracting fractions with different denominators. First, let's remind ourselves, what is the denominator in a fraction? That's the bottom number, or the what kind of fraction we have. Here's an example of a fraction. 8 is the denominator. These two fractions have common denominators. That means their denominators of 8 are the same. There's an 8 in the bottom of both fractions. Here are two examples, or two fractions, that are not with a common denominator. 8 is the denominator of one fraction, but 4 is the denominator in the other. These are not common denominators. If two fractions do not have common denominators, then one or both fractions could be renamed so that both fractions do have common denominators. Remember that we can rename a fraction by multiplying it by a fraction equal to 1. So if I took 3/4 and I multiplied it by 2 over 2, remember that 2 over 2 is just 1. So I'm keeping the fraction the same. It'll come out equal to 3/4, but by multiplying by 2 over 2, I can make it 6 over 8. It's equal to 3/4. It's going to be the same amount, but it's a different named fraction. Now, 3/8 and 6/8 do have common denominators. That makes it nice if I was trying to compare. If I said, what is more, 3/8 or 3/4? It would be easier to compare 3/8 and 6/8. We know that if the fraction denominators are the same, it's the same kind of fraction, then 6 is more than 3. Rename 2/5 and 1/6 so that they have a common denominator. The denominators are 5 and 6. A common denominator for these two fractions would be any common multiple of 5 and 6. The least common denominator would be the least common multiple of 5 and 6. So what are the multiples of 5? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, and so on. And then 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, and so on. So what is the common multiple here? It would be 30. It would also be the least common multiple. There's nothing else that's the same between these two. So the least common denominator would be the least common multiple of 30. So I want to change 2/5 to something over 30, and I want to change 1/6 to something over 30. So I'm going to say, what did I multiply 5 by to get 30? I multiplied it by 6. 5 times 6 is 30. So I have to multiply this 2 by the same number. 2 times 6 is 12. 2/5 is the same as 12/30. What did I multiply 6 by to get 30? I multiplied it by 5. So I do the same at the top. 1 times 5 is 5. So 5/30 is 1/6. Now it would be easy to compare these two fractions, 12/30 and 5/30. I know that 12 is bigger than 5, so that fraction is bigger. It would also be easy now to add these fractions together. With the same denominator, it's the same kind of fraction, so then I can just add the tops together. What if I want to compare 2/9 and 1/6? Which one would be bigger? I'm going to have to write these fractions with common denominators. So again, what is my least common multiple of 6 and 9? 6, 12, 18. Do I see something that's a multiple of 9? I do. I see 18 is a multiple of 9. So instead of listing the multiples of 9, I could just list the multiples of 6 and look at it and see which one of those is divisible by 9. So over here, I'm going to write that 2/9 is the same as something over 18. What did I multiply 9 by to get 18? I multiplied it by 2. So I can multiply 2 by 2 to get 4, and 4/18 is the same as 2/9. What did I multiply 6 by to get 18? I had to multiply it by 3. So I'm going to multiply the 1 by 3 and get 3. 3/18 is the same as 1/6. Now I can compare 4/18 or 3/18. Well, the 4/18 is bigger. When we are adding or subtracting fractions, we have to have them the same kind. We have to have them with the same denominator. So how do I add 3/4 and 3/8? I have to get them with the same denominator. I know that 8 is a multiple of 4. So 8 is going to be my common denominator, or my least common multiple in this case. So I only have to change 3/8 into I have to change 3/4 into something over 8. 4 times 2 is 8, so 3 times 2 is 6. So now I have this is the same as 6/8 plus 3/8. Because the denominators are now the same, I have the same type of fraction, I can add the numerators at the top, the how many of each kind of fraction. 6 plus 3 is 9. So 9/8 is the answer to 3/4 plus 3/8. What if I want to subtract? I also have to have the same kind of fraction. So what is 5/8 minus 2/9? 5/8 minus 2/9. I need to get the least common multiple to change these denominators. I'm going to list the multiples of 8 and start looking which one of these is also a multiple of 9. None of them yet. $72. That is going to be my lowest common denominator. So I'm going to change 5/8 into something over 72. I had to multiply by 9. So I multiply the top one by 9 and I get 45. So now I have 45 72s minus what? 2/9 as something over 72. I had to multiply by 8. Multiply 2 by 8 and get 16. So 16 72s, or 70 seconds. All right, 45 minus 16. I believe it's going to be 29. Over 72. All right, last example. We have a mixed number, 8 2/3 minus 5 1/6. How do I want to work this? I can just look at the fractions, and I can say 2/3, I want it to be a common denominator with something over 6. Well, since 6 is a multiple of 3, I only have to change the 2/3 fraction. So what will 2/3 be if I make it something over 6? I had to multiply by 2, so it makes it 4/6. So I can change this to 8 4/6 minus 5 1/6. Now, if I can subtract the fractions without having to borrow, that would make it easy. Is 4/6 minus 1/6? Yes, I can do that. 4/6 minus 1/6 is 3/6. 8 minus 5 is 3. Then I look at my fraction, 3/6. I can reduce that. 3/6, if I divided both the top and the bottom by 3, I have my whole number of 3, and 3 divided by 3 is 1. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So final answer is going to be 3 1/2 when I subtract 8 2/3 minus 5 1/6. Now, sometimes we might have fractions with very large denominators. 5 32nds plus 7 24ths. How can we find the common denominator here, or the least common multiple? Using my prime factorization would be very helpful. I'm going to take 5 over 32. I'm going to prime factorization 32. So 32 would be 8 times 4. 4 is 2 times 2. 8 is 2 times 2 times 2. So 2 to the 5th is what 32 is. Now I'm going to take my fraction 7 24ths, and I'm going to look at how 24 would do a factor. 24 is 6 times 4, 6 is 3 times 2, and 4 is 2 times 2. So 2, 2, 2, and 3. Now I'm going to look at which ones are all the same. I have these are the same and these are the same. So if I take what is the same and then what is extra over here and what is extra over here, this multiplied out would be the common multiple between 32 and 24. These were the same for both of them, so I only have to list them once, and then my extras were right here and my extra right here. So 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 2 is 4, and 2 times 3 is 6. So I can do 6 times 4 is 24, and then 24 times 4 is going to be 96. So my common denominator is going to be 96. What did I multiply 32 by to get 96? If I multiply it by 3, that's how I got 96. So I'm going to multiply 5 by 3 to get 15. Over here, how could I get 24 to be 96? I would be multiplying by 4. So 7 times 4 is 28. Now I can do final addition here. 15 96ths plus 28 96ths. 15 plus 28 is 43 over 96. And I don't think that that reduces at all.